All right, you guys, welcome to tonight's team call. We are going to be talking about our limiting beliefs and our thoughts that are not so nice and how we can flip the script on them. So I would love if one, I want you guys to do this with me. I want you to unmute yourself and I want us to talk through this. I've already talked through these scenarios myself and written them out so that we can use the thought model that Meg taught all of us. I don't know, it was like 2 months ago now, on the circumstance, what the thought is, and we can't always control the first thought, right? But we can always flip the script. We can choose if it's truth or if it's not, right? So the thought, the feeling that thought creates, then what is the action? And then what is the result, right? So that is the thought model. We have a goal or a circumstance. There's a thought that then creates a feeling. The feeling then creates action or lack of action. And then we have a result, right? And then it just cycles, and the results usually fuel the thought, right? So it's like this loop, and we get stuck in this loop. So what we need to learn to do is take control of that thought, create a better statement that is true for us, so that we can empower the feeling and the action and then create a better result, which is then going to loop around and create better thoughts and more belief, right? So as I'm working through this, I would love for you guys to unmute. Let's have a conversation about it. If you have, a couple of you sent me your thoughts, which I so appreciate, because it gives me one, you guys, I don't know what you're telling yourself in your head unless you tell me. So I can't help you work through it if I don't know what's going on. Okay. So I appreciate those of you who sent me those thoughts, because that one gives me a lot more insight on what is holding us back. But it's going to help everybody else too, who maybe isn't ready to share those vulnerable feelings, right? Because it's scary to open yourself up, because a lot of times we feel like we're failing or that we suck or whatever. Those are right. Our brain starts telling us all the stupid shit, and we need to tell it to zip it up. Okay. So the first circumstance that we're going to work through is growing a successful business and growing a supplemental income with that successful business. Okay. So the first thought around that goal or circumstance is, how can I show up for others when I don't show up for myself consistently? How many of you guys have felt that before? How can I show up for others? Okay, so go ahead and unmute yourselves. What kind of feelings does that give you? What do you feel when you say that to yourself?
I feel defeated before I even start.
Yeah, defeated. What's another one?
Sorry, the mute button's hard. When I do that, when I don't show up for myself, how can I show up for others? Because not only am I defeating myself before I even start, but you're devaluing yourself. How could I be of value to someone else? Because I'm not even valuing my own person.
Okay. Julie, did you have one? I feel like you were going to unmute.
I think Leah said it perfectly. It's basically the thoughts I had.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So defeated was one I wrote down as well. Why bother? Discouraged, right? So when we have those feelings, when we're already feeling unworthy, defeated, discouraged, why bother? What action is going to happen?
No action.
None. Exactly. Right. There's no action taken. So what sort of result are we producing?
None.
None, right? We are further fueling inconsistency and lack of belief, which then cycles up and tells our brain, yep, see, proved you right. You suck at this. You can't do this. You can't show up consistently. You keep saying you're going to, but you never do. You guys, our brains are incredibly smart. They will search for all the reasons to prove your statement correct. So you can't control the first thought that comes into your brain, but you have to learn to use better statements. And when you ask yourself questions, you need to learn to ask yourself better questions, because if your brain is automatically going to search for data from your past or for proof around you, you have to have better questions. Because if you say, why do I always suck at this? It's going to say, well, you've never stuck with it before because you failed this time, you failed that time. It's going to give you the data that you're asking for. And it's going to spit out and compute all of the shit where you took a wrong step. We all have bad days. We've all had missteps. We all, if I asked myself that question every day, I'm sure my brain would compute a lot of shit that I did wrong. But that's not serving me. That's not serving growth or empowering me to move forward. Right? And it's not you guys either. And you know that, but you get stuck in that loop. So this is where it's super important to, okay, that's what I used to tell myself. Right? And a lot of people use affirmations, and I love affirmations. I still write out my affirmations every morning. But if you don't believe your affirmation to be true right now, it is doing nothing for you to write it or say it. Okay, because on a subconscious level, you don't believe it. So that's why the thought model helps us to flip that script. So we can create a statement or a new thought pertaining to that circumstance that is going to help us grow. Okay, that is going to help us empower the action. Hey, girl. Okay, so that was the first thought, remember, was how can I show up for others when I don't show up for myself consistently? What if we changed our thought to, I know I'm not perfect, but neither are my followers or potential clients. By sharing my story authentically, I can help them build belief in themselves and realize that growth and change are possible to achieve. What feelings does that bring?
The hope.
Ooh, I didn't write that. That's a good one. Hope. Anything else? Leah's looking for that mute button.
Again, my mute is very hard to find. I was just thinking when you were saying that, how it's become, it's almost like the anti-hero, where now flaws have become a laughing point, but now people can see that nobody's perfect. And shows like Nailed It and America's Funniest Home Videos that have been going on for ages, things like that, we show that we're human. None of us are, particular people are showing just the good stuff, but not the donut hole. And we all feel like the donut hole every once in a while. I mean, every day there's a point where I didn't nail it. I'll tell you damn right. But I mean, you know, you're able to put yourself out there as you are, then you're showing up for yourself, and you're going to show others that they can do the same thing too, and not have that hope in here, and then share it with others. It originates from here.
Yeah, for sure. So a couple, the hope was a very good one. I wrote down empowered, less pressure. You feel normal. How about that? And that you're good enough. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, that's what it's coming back to. You don't feel like you are enough. So those other things come to mind. Okay. So if we feel empowered and we feel hope and we're taking that pressure away of perfection, what is our action? We share authentically. We're proud to be who we are and allow our voice to shine, right? You're providing value in being proof that even when it's hard and you aren't perfect and you don't have it all figured out, you could still take steps forward. You can still grow. You can still achieve the goals that you're going for, right? So when we have that action, what results do we have? We have connection with our people, right? We're not putting on this facade of perfection to connect with the ideal person, right? We're connecting with our people on a authentic level, which is, let me just be honest with you guys, that is why everybody is on this call right now. It's not because we put on a front and we attracted these picture perfect beach body coaches, whatever. It's because we're authentic and we're connecting with our people. Yes, that and our friendship. And when we go to dinner and do things together, it is because we are sharing who we are. And that is what attracts our people. Okay. Those are the people who need us anyway, right? They're the ones that are going to see us and hear us. Okay. So you're connecting with your people. You're growing at your own pace. I think that we get in our heads that we have to have this crazy momentum. Y'all, I have been a coach for 10.5 years and I'm a 2-star diamond coach. There are many coaches who hit 2-star in their first year or their second year. That's okay. Do you, boo? I'm still here very consistently after 10.5 years. And our team is amazing. So I want you to think about that. Are you in this for like hitting that goal tomorrow and hustling your ass off and burning out to where you have to take a step back? Or are you here for the long haul to create a ripple effect and to serve a mission? That is where you are going to connect with your people because you're showing up authentically. You're not trying to push the numbers. You're not trying to push the sale. You are being you and you are connecting to your people. Okay. So the result of connecting with your people and helping to create that ripple effect is going to empower the thought of, I can't do this because I'm not showing up for people consistently. I'm not showing up for myself consistently. So how can I show up for others consistently? Or is it going to empower, I know I'm not perfect, but I am creating my change. And I am helping those around me see that they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be Pinterest. They don't have to be the picture perfect parent, coach, mom, wife, friend, right? It takes the pressure off of everybody, doesn't it? Okay, so next one, moving on. So the next thought around growing a successful business and supplementing the income. I have the time, I just don't do it. Okay, so I actually did not work through this one because I'm going to challenge this thought. Okay. I am going to challenge you to either, if this is a thought that you have had, to create more clarity on where the limiting beliefs or the doubts are, or more clarity on your why. Because my guess is, or I would lean to say, that a supplemental income sure would be nice, but it's not needed. So there's not enough discomfort there with a deep-seated why to push you beyond the limiting beliefs and the doubt that you have in your head. Okay, so it's revisiting that. What does that look like for you? What would that supplemental income bring? Is that a family vacation? Plan that family vacation. Is it being able to put money in a savings account for your children? Create more clarity around what that can bring to your family, the value that that brings, and that's going to bring more to your heart so that you can show up for yourself and push through the negative thoughts. Okay. Okay. So there's that one. The next one is, and I did work through this next one. Thought is, I'm not creative and content exhausts me. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I will raise my hand to the sky. And I am very grateful that nowadays I can just recycle content because I've been consistent long enough that some days I'm just like copy and paste, put that old shit back up there with a new picture. I get it. Okay. Okay. So the thought is, I'm not creative and content exhausts me. So what does that make you guys feel? What are the feelings that come along with that?
Kind of makes me not even want to try to, kind of like going back to the first thought we had.
Yeah.
Like I feel defeated before I even start.
Okay. I put overwhelm and dread. It's like that task that you're like, and then you're exhausting yourself because you're like beating yourself up over just doing the damn thing, right? So you're quitting before you start. So the action is none, again, because it's just too much. It's too much to think about. It's too much to worry about. And then if I just don't think about it or do it, then I'm not really a failure because I didn't try, right? Yeah. So no action. So the result is going to be no growth and further fueling the lack of belief that you have value to bring and that you are creative, okay, and that you have something to offer. So instead of I'm not creative and content exhausts me, I might feel boring or like I lack creativity. But there are women just like me who need and will value my content. Because we all feel boring, right? We all feel like our life is mundane because we're the ones who are freaking living it. Oh, I got up this morning, I did my workout, I drank my pre-workout, I gave the kids their vitamins, I got them to school, I went to work, I came home, I cooked dinner, right? Like it's the same for most of us. It's the same routine every single day, at least 5 days a week, right? So you feel like it's mundane and like there's nothing happening. But there are things happening up here. Like this call for one is something to talk about, right? That you're working on getting over your shit. There is something in every day. And when you're plugged into personal development, there is something every single day that if it touches you, it is going to touch your people. Because it spoke to you, right? If you're in the wellness group, look at all the girls who share just a simple meme that they came across. And everybody blows it up because it's like, yes, oh my God, yes. Don't take the little things for granted. And if you go back to like the high five habit, and Mel tells you to start really focusing on, in the book, she talks about heart, and you look for heart shapes everywhere. If you start practicing gratitude, and not, I'm thankful for my house, I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for food. You guys look for the little things that you skip over, and it's just another thing. You walk in the door and your kid tells you a joke and you laugh until you cry. Little things. in every single day. And it's going to shift your perspective to start sharing that, because people need that light. Okay. So if we come from a place that we're just sharing us authentically and knowing that our people are out there and we're providing some sort of value, whether it's inspiration or it's tips or it's a recipe or it's a kick in the pants to get out of your own damn head, that empowers us to know that there are people who are going to find value in what we have to say. We feel worthy. We feel enough. We feel valued. Right? So when we feel those things, we can create authentic content. And it comes easily because we're just sharing us and pieces of our story. And when we show up consistently and we share authentically, our result is we keep posting, we share consistently, and we find our voice. We step into our truth instead of being worried about what other people are going to think, or it didn't get the likes or the comments. There are people watching you when you show up consistently. Okay. Okay. Does anybody else have anything to add to that one? No? Okay. I think I have one more. Yes, one more. And if anybody has one that has popped up that is a negative thought or something that they're struggling with, put it in the chat and we will address it. Circumstance around this thought is create time and financial flexibility for life. Okay, so essentially working towards creating freedom. The thought is, I won't find the right people to work with me. Anybody else feel that? They're not going to find the right prospects, clients, coaches. Okay. So what feelings does that bring?
Alienated or isolated. Either one.
Ooh, that's a good one. Anybody else?
I'd also say defeated from the get-go. It's like, what's the point of trying if you're never going to meet the people that you'd hope to reach in the first place?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what I was going to say.
Okay. I put lacking, discouraged, doubt. So lacking, like you're not enough. You don't bring enough to the table, so you're not going to find the people who you think will, right? Okay. So action again. Probably going to be nothing or very little and inconsistently here and there, wavering in and out. Like Kate talked about on the call last week, you're in that tinkering phase, right? You kind of come in and then you go out, and then you come in and then you go out, which result is going to be we're not going to grow. So then we don't build that belief, and we don't create that consistency, which further fuels that we're not going to find the right people. So this actually fits really well because the last two chapters I've read in the book I'm in right now, actually the chapter this morning was very much about this, that it is the scarcity mindset, that there are not enough people out there, or that there aren't people out there who will find value in what you bring in your story and what you can offer to help them. Guys, we know that's not true. Look at the state of our country. We know that's not true. It's an obscene percentage of Americans are obese and overweight, incredibly unhealthy and unhappy, right? You have value to bring to the table. The people are out there. It's having appreciation for where you are. So it's going back to gratitude. Kristen Boss in the chapter this morning was talking about how she was investing in a coach who was $2,000 was the first one. And a few weeks later, she invested $10,000 and they didn't have the money. And she kept saying to herself, why am I doing this when I can't afford it? And I'm not bringing in any coaches. I'm not bringing in any clients to coach. And her first launch that she was hoping to make $25,000, she made like $1,600. It was because she was living in a place of scarcity. She didn't think she was going to find those people. She was afraid that she wasn't bringing enough value to the table. But when she stepped into gratitude and having joy and being grateful for where she was, yes, are there struggles? Hell yes. But there are lessons being learned. And you guys hear me say this all the time, but we are right where we are supposed to be. We are right where we are supposed to be, whether that's where you thought you would be right now or where you want to be right now, you are right where you are supposed to be. And if you find yourself in a loop, there is a lesson that isn't being learned. So create that clarity. Use the thought model and start flipping the script. Okay. Practice your journaling, practice your gratitude, and take control of your thoughts. Because like I said, when I started this call, we can't always control the first thought that comes to our minds. But if you don't take control of that thought, your brain is going to search for all of the evidence and data to support said thought. Okay. Julie, I am reading, this is the second time I've read it this year, is Pivot to Purpose. Yes, those are all post-its of all the goodness in this book. She's amazing. This book is a must read at least once. I think I read it 3 months ago and I'm in it again already. It's so good. I'll actually share with you really quick so this was perfect because I'll show it to you, but I'll read it to you. This was in the chapter I read this morning. So interestingly enough, that is what we're talking about. Your core belief. This is the hustle cycle. Okay. Core belief. I need to sell or I need this sale or goal. I won't be okay unless I reach my goal. That creates scarcity. Nervous system goes into fight or flight mode, panic, anxiety, fear, overwhelm, take charge. That moves into hustle because you need to what? Hit the goal, right? So in hustle, we are more concerned to meet our own emotional and physical needs through our business, high pressure environment, which then goes to short-term gains. So we probably make a sale or two because we kill ourselves to invite enough people, right, to make the sale. That then creates burnout, resentment towards the business, and you need to take a step back because that is not a sustainable pace. That then creates profit loss, and you're probably, the people who did sign up probably really weren't ready, but they felt pressured. And they're not going to stick around. They're not going to be your lifers, right? So if you come from an abundance cycle, your core belief is I have exactly what I need in this given moment. You have gratitude and your nervous system is centered and calm. You come from a place of service and you meet others' needs instead of seeking to meet your own. You then increase trust, network is increased, relational equity, mutually beneficial experience. Then you can rest, present in relationship, healthy boundaries and rhythms of rest and consistent work, which then goes back to your core belief that you have exactly what you need in this moment. Okay. If you guys have not watched Meg's video, it is in the group, but what I will do is after I load this, I will pull that YouTube and put it under the post from this morning as well, since it goes along with this call. Even if you watched it, if you are not practicing this yet and you are struggling to get in that routine, I strongly encourage you to go back to it. Okay. This goes back to what Kate was talking about Monday, and then I reiterated on Wednesday. This is mastery. If you want to create a long-term change in your life, you have to take control of your thoughts. That is not a, oh, I watched Meg's video when she did it and I'm not doing it, but I know what I'm supposed to do. No, that's phase 1 and phase 2. If you are ready to create your change, you have to create mastery. And that means you keep practicing it. Okay. It means you watch the video again. You print off Rachel Bodie's, it was like a 3-page, God, I can't, it was like just a print off, and it like gave a brief explanation of it, and it walks you through the circumstance, the thought, the feeling, the action, the result. So each morning you can journal. I just printed it off, you guys, and journaled in my book what I was thinking, right? But I kept that by my side for the first 2 weeks, just so I had those prompts to keep moving me through until it just became what I was doing every morning. Okay. But this is phase 3. This is where you create the change, is by practicing and repeating and doing, rinse and repeat. Okay. Because we all still have, like Leah said in the beginning, we all still have those shit thoughts. Right? I've been like really diving deep into PD for several years, and there are still days I have to catch my thoughts. We are all human. We get tired, our brains get tired, we feel stretched thin. So it is easy, yeah, to slip right back into that loop. Okay. Okay. I love you guys. I am really excited for the rest of this year and a new year coming, because there is some girls, I don't know, it's weird, call it woo woo, whatever, but I get these weird vibes. They're not weird. I get vibes when there's things on the horizon. It's that 6th sense. I'm telling you. To the moon. We got people to serve and people to help and a freaking impact to make. So let's do it. Okay. All right. I love you all. Yes, you are so welcome. I hope that helps a ton. If you guys are ever struggling and you're working through a thought model on your own, and you're like, what? I just maybe feel lost, whatever. Text me or text Kate. She's been practicing it for a while too. Okay. We're always here to help. And I'm going to do better in putting them in the chat thread. I started doing it like once a week. I need to get back to that, just to put that little nugget in there as a reminder that we're not going to let those thoughts rule. Okay. All right, my friends. I love you all. Thank you all for jumping on the call tonight. I will get the recording up. And like I said, I will put Meg's link under this one as well, just so you have both of them in one place. Okay. All right. Have a great rest of your night.